Welcome back, Tyler Talks, where I talk. You don't have to listen, but I will talk. So it's been 13, 14 days since I've done a video. So I had the flu, y'all. I was out. So getting over it. Mostly good to go and feeling better. I'm going on a trip tomorrow, so I'm not going to be back till Monday, and then it's just going to be busy after that, so I figured I want to do a video. I'm not going to spend too much time. Like, we know what this offense does. I've shown this defense plenty. This is a bigger build. It's not a fully refined. I threw together a 57. I more so wanted to show a concept and say what I think is the strongest deck currently out there right now. Not necessarily this, but from the concept. And I do think either Destructive Sin down or Judas down as a hero with Nazareth. And that's it. I think that's the strongest deck. And then you start supplementing it. Like you could play Denarius with a couple Emperors, Nicodemus, Philosophy, and have a really good build. I know Joe Mama had a build that he was using. I pulled some concepts of the offense from there. But he was playing Gray with Terrifying Beast and Foreign Wives and played Destructive Sin with it. And maybe that can come out. Maybe you just need Judas as a hero and you can just play Gray naturally. No Destructive Sin. I think that's a better deck. Gray, Nicodemus, Emperors, Denarius. Because the main point is you want 4 Drachma Coin and Denarius. You really just want cards that or artifacts that let you draw. So even though we don't have access to our reserve, we still want Book of the Covenant with New Covenant active, because even though we can't use New Covenant's ability, we get to draw 1, assuming Nazareth is down. And then Ends of the Earth works through Nazareth because it's a reveal. It's not a look or a search. So any sort of card that like reveals the top. So that's also why you can use Gray, because it has Balaam's Prophecy. So if you're using star cards with Balaam's Prophecy, you can get a lot of value from that, because that's just another reveal, top 6, take a star card or add it to battle. So yeah, you can definitely play Gray and get Denarius and 4 Drachma, and you definitely play 50 Carter there. You can still do Virgin Birth and Hopper, and I do think that's arguably the best deck. But generally, just the concept that I'm getting at is either Destructive Sin and or Judas down with Nazareth down. That's really all you're trying to do, and then you're trying to draw. So I wanted to do just a Demon Thieves defense. I have a lot of fun with them, and this one using Destructive Sin is really good, and I get to have that draw power, because it's really what you need to. You have to play something that lets you draw, and you don't need to search or rely on that. Like Saul of Tarsus, Herod, Antipas, stuff like that, like Herod's Guard. That's not going to work with Nazareth out. So I went to a defense that I can get out quickly, that has very good blocks with characters that I can supplement with enhancements, of course. But if you can't draw and you can't search, and you got to get around protection, and I'm hitting your hand, it's really good. And then you factor in the Messenger of Satan to Thieves. Like, that's just a lot. You're not going to be able to protect your hand or deck against like Sordid Spirit and 3 Woes and the Thief. Like, I can negate your stuff as well. Negate it, at least in battle. So it's not bad. We still have consistency pieces, but you're really just trying to get Nazi early. It doesn't have to come down turn 1. I know the whole community says, if you're playing Nazi, you want it down turn 1. If you're in, you have the momentum, you're in command of the game. Maybe they're hero droughted, or maybe you soul droughted them, or they're just kind of sputtering, or you're constantly looking at their hand and it's turn 2. Like, you don't have to play Nazi. You can just keep getting your deck out when you get enough resources, and you can drop it. So you don't have to play that turn 1. And the other thing, there are a couple pieces we like to have. I like to draw a little bit in search, but if I have Ends of the Earth with Nazi, then sure, I love that. Um, if I can get Book of the Covenant, maybe grab You Will Remain, or get to a good seed, all that stuff. I like having those pieces before I drop Nazi, but the fact that I can still draw a bunch, that's why I have Generous Giving in here. I still think it's a good card. If I can get some reserve access and get a card out of reserve, it's also good as well. And maybe that comes out for a different card. I had to pause the video, so I actually have no idea what I was saying before that. Sorry. All right, let's see. We know the offense. We know the defense. Main point of the deck. Not you. Nazi with Destructive Sin. You don't have to play this defense by any means. Just have some sort of very hard counter to their drawing. Nazi Judas is pretty much as good as it gets. Destructive Sin is extremely good because I get to draw. So that's why I went with this. Especially I get to restrict their good dominance with Judas as evil. And still have Destructive Sin down. If I'm playing a different defense, then Judas is good. And I have Nazi down. I don't have a negate neutrals in here. So that's something I can look at bringing in. Because I don't really know what, like, of course I want my 4 Drachma coin to work. My Book of the Covenant, assuming Nazi's down, the only thing I care about is the identifier. I don't care about that getting negated. I don't want my Ends of the Earth negated. My Temple Veil's very nice to have, and my Souls, of course, but I'm just thinking if I have to have, like, James that negates both neutrals, I'm not sure. But either way, like, I think ideally you have a negate neutrals in here, Judas down, Nazi down, and that's it. You're good to go. They can't draw, they can't search, no one touches their reserve. Sure, theoretically, Nazi isn't hard to get out from under. It's really hard when you don't get to draw and I get to draw and you can't look or search. You have to go. I had my microphone on my phone. That's funny. My girlfriend was about to get an entire transcript of this video. So if you can't draw, you can't search. And if you do draw, I get to draw. That's a huge advantage. And then I just have drawing cards on both offense and defense. I get to take your cards, and the only thing you get to do is organically draw 3 is pretty crazy. The other aspect is just more hand control, like offense, defense, hand control. That could do really well. Just trying to think what exactly you could do there. Because we're not trying to just do hand control. We're trying to do, like, with Nazi down very early. If you're just drawing 3 every turn, you can't draw anything over that, and you can't search for resources. I mean, I don't even know if you need to do hand control, to be honest. But yeah, that's something to look into as well. There's a lot of variants. I do think anything with you can't draw with Nazi down is the best. Not in no way is this the best. It's 57 cards. It's very big defense. The offense isn't optimal. It's just to purely show the concept. The other thing I want to talk about is your dominance. I was talking to Jay today as well, and I think I said that earlier. That's why I said it that way. I was talking to Jay today, and we were just talking about kind of the line of sight on dominance and how we do think they're going to be shifting from just quote-unquote the normal 7. I want to say each deck should almost be centered around a dominant, whether it's Resurrection, Glory of the Lord, or Buckler, because those are the 3 he brought up for, like, the searching doms that aren't Crowd's Choice and Mayhem. Not that every single deck needs to have one of those 3 doms, like, that's just not feasible, but I do think you're going to see the top competitive decks leveraging those dominants. And we just saw Justin win the Lackey Grand Prix with Murderous Command and a Warrior Overtaken, which is what I said in a video when those dominants came out, that those should just be in defenses. Those should be in your deck. You could have both, and you get the two kills on a hero to add the battles. When you add the battle, I don't know the exact stats. We don't do that in Redemption. We don't carry that kind of metrics. But I would love to see the metrics of a successful battle when you add to battle, both on offense and defense. So the fact that you have, whether it's Shield or Gates of Hell with Murderous Command and Warrior Overtaken, that's a lot of firepower. So instead of like a Christian Martyr falling away, like I think you can just play both of those. Justin just proved it worked. I'm glad he did, because it's not one of those things where I've been saying it for a while. Just the community needs to see it work, and I get it because I don't play as competitively. So it's good for the community to say, hey, yeah, Tyler was saying this, but it does work. I say that not in an ego way for me. I don't really care. I say that because this is good. Those two dominants that add to battle, they're really good. And now it's proven, so now people will start doing it, I think. I think a lot of people play one of them, but having both, that's pretty good. I think Chronicles, that's going to be in more decks coming up. I think people should be playing with more of that. I talked before about Highwayman and slapping down Coliseum. And you put down Coliseum real quick. You have Chronicles out. You're good to go. If you really want, you can play like a very, very fast deck, and you can have the Cross with Golgotha and Nazi and some sort of, like, probably Judas, because you're doing speed. And you can actually have a small defense that blocks with a very good lockdown deck. I'm thinking like a Holy of Holies, maybe even a Pact with Death with Nazi. It's just tough because you have Judas, so do you run Bethlehem because he's a Luke hero? Like if you run Bethlehem, he works. That gets pretty complicated, but there's a lot there to where just the opponent can't get out from under. Their characters don't work, they can't draw, they can't search. Meanwhile, you're drawing. Yeah, you're not searching, but your deck's made to draw. And then you can add to battle. So I think there's a lot of concepts you can take if you look at just what are the best dominants in the game, offensively and defensively, and then dual alignment. Like, what are the best dominants? Okay, can I incorporate what I think are the best of the best? And then how do you leverage those dominants? So I think we're going to start seeing a shift in some of like the standard dominants to new ones. Double check your Lost Souls too. Chad's done great with Soul Surfer. So definitely don't overlook, like look into your Lost Souls and see what you have. Do you want to slap down Lost Souls early and have ways to them and mess with your opponent? Complacent's very good. You want to have a mix of dominance that work in battle and outside of battle. Like, just, I'm not seeing as much creativity right now in deck building. Is kind of my point. I'm just not seeing a lot of decks as well. So maybe that's because Mr. Classic's coming up. I'm not sure, but I mean, we just finished up a huge LGP, a Lackey Grand Prix, and I don't know. I was hoping to see more decks come out of that, but love that Baboony Tim on his channel. He's got Justin's on there and does a breakdown of it, so that's a really good channel. So yeah, we'll get into this, and I'll kind of show you. Even at 57 cards, it's very consistent, fast, and it's very hard to get out from underneath these two cards, and then you still have to beat all this stuff. So it's solid. I just think there can be a lot different types of variants. Um, but I did want to talk about the podcast super quick as well. It was episode 70 with Art Middlecoff, and he was just talking about really being a good competitor. And I don't mean that means you're not making mistakes. What I mean by that is when you're playing your opponent, and we've talked about this on the channel before, like, you're not just being a good sport, but you're playing. He called it. He was referring to another game and playing by their code. I think that's a great idea, just having like a code in Redemption. But really, it's if your opponent, let's say my opponent has Destructive Sin down, and I draw, and they don't catch it. I'm not going to say a percentage of how many people would just let that go. So I'll just leave it at that. And then what Art's saying is you drew into Destructive Sin and your opponent didn't notice it. You need to put those cards back and let your opponent to draw. Hey, you have Destructive Sin down. I drew, so I'm going to put my cards back and you get to draw one instead. That's very hard for people to comprehend. To do that, like, no, those are your cards. You missed it. I shouldn't have to. I do feel like I've played against players before at nationals that it almost felt like they'll purposely do things hoping you won't catch. Or if you didn't catch it, they'll do it again. I say he, it's just majority of the opponents I play. Your opponent didn't catch that. I'm going to do it again. And in my opinion, that's cheating. It's not what Redemption stands for. So yeah, I would definitely say try to play cleaner. I definitely have always tried to play that by those unspoken rules of, oh, hey, I screwed up. I had something down. And try to let the opponent know. So I don't know, reputation and of myself and reputation of this game, like what we stand for, and we do. John Hendricks is right. Like, I do think the competitive reputation and like watching. I mean, we can just go into the top. We have enough footage out there of games to where we can see misplays aren't being talked about. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm gonna roll right into this. Let's see. Star-wise, we could top deck, but we're just going to want to do darkness. We could forego darkness and not top deck a dominant, but more than likely we'd rather just go Matthew. Like, we want the resurrection, but I already have John and I have Nazi, so yeah, I would like the resurrection, but I could go probably straight into a Matthew and have a Baptism of Jesus and a Chronicles to back him up, and then put down my Nazi at the end of my turn. That's not bad. So I will not do my stars, and because even if I top deck an Evil Fortress, one of the other two stars would override it, or I would just use one. But either way, I'm going to actually use darkness because the whole point is getting down Nazi. So remember, we have Judas, Prince, and Zacchaeus. So I can take, I can play or take an evil character from deck. Now this is tough. Usually it's going to be Highwayman, but I do have Messenger as Satan, to where I can go Messenger to Judas, back to Prince of this World, and still get the draw. So that's not bad at all. If I have Nazi down, then I can actually look at their hand with Highwayman, and I can't play anything. I really like Plunders as well, turn one. Like, I can prevent the next, ban to Judas, ban to Prince of this world. So it's really just a matter of what two do I want to take, or which of the two do I want to take. The draw is enticing, but I think the better block is Plunderers. And if I need to, I can block with Zacchaeus. So we're just going to send that. Either way, I'm shuffling. So we're sending it back to deck. And then I put down 2 Lost Souls. I don't need Meeks on my side, so. So now from here, assuming we even go first. If not, we still have a very strong band turn 1. Like even if we don't get to go first, I would still be able to go Plunderers to Judas to Prince. I'm good with that. So they would have had to ban, and I'm still restricting good dominance and preventing the first. So they have to have something CBP or 2 enhancements or something CBN. If they have something CBP, I could play Chronicles as well. So yeah, just good overall. If it wasn't Plunders and it was Messenger Satan, then it would have been Judas to Messenger to Zacchaeus, and that would have been a big draw, but I wouldn't have had Plunderers. I would have just drawn cards, and I would have been solely reliant on Chronicles. Honestly, it's not bad. It comes down to those decisions that how do you want to play it? Do you think the drawing plus having Prince and or it wouldn't even be Prince wouldn't even be in there. Do you think just the drawing with very low numbers on defense with Chronicles is enough or not? And that's, you just don't know. Because I would have a 6-1, a 4-5, and a 2-3. Like with the Chronicles, I could lose all my evil characters in one block and not even get the block. So that's a tough one. I don't know if assuming we even block or not turn 1, I don't know whose turn it is. But if we go first, we go Angel from the Sun. And of course, we can go straight to Matthew. It's fine. No shame. Look at your hand. Get a little draw. And now, I kind of like playing Spirit as a Dove here. Because once I slap Nazi, that's it. So I can take a good New Testament card from my deck. There's really plenty to take. It's just a matter of, once again, what do we get blocked with? Like if it was a Foreign Wise, we take Love One Another. Or if it's any sort of protection, like we could take Love One Another or Untouchable if it's not Foreign Wives. If it's a bunch of evil characters, we could take AOC. So it all depends on what they blocked with. We could always just get out like a hero we want. Once again, there's plenty of options, so it depends on how they block. I'm going to go crazy and grab a Generous Giving. And then, assuming they have initiative, I have Baptism of Jesus for the negate, draw 2. Assuming I win that, no clue. But as for here, now we do want another Thief down. And then we do want, I need to make all these bigger. I forgot because I'm still getting used to the one big monitor instead of 2 monitors. And now we have Zacchaeus down. And we put down the lock. And we have a big band that does a lot of damage right there. And we got 8 in hand and a ton of evil characters that they don't know about. So we are already negating enhancements in their territories. And they cannot look or search. And the look's big because my hand's not protected. So Yeah, so Highwayman still does work through Nazi. I forgot because it's not protecting hand from look. So I was going to say Nazi stops Matthew, but forgot. That is not it. If I assume they have a Matthew, like that would be huge. And once again, it comes down to what they're playing, whether or not they attack first, and just how that attack went as well. If I suspect a Matthew, like I could already put down Judas and John and probably Condemned and just show my quote unquote hand early, saying, yeah, I got 5 cards in my hand. Here's my evil characters, and I don't want you to get a big Matthew draw. So that would give him the 3 instead of a 4, 5, 6. So just thinking about it that way, if you assume they have a Matthew turn 1, put down your stuff. Even like, yeah, you're only going to get 2 off of cards like Hannah and stuff. But so if they attack, now it can go into a Plunders, into a Judas. I'm trying to think if I want to go Judas, Plunders, no. Into a Messenger, assuming I can probably just draw 1 there. And then we can ban to a human. We do have a negate to go with our Chronicles as well. So then it's just a matter if they have hand protection or not. More than likely, I'm just going to go straight to Condemned Thief and just take what they have. I have a good bit of brigades on offense. Like, I do have green here, clay, purple, white. So I have a lot covered in between a lot of enhancements having dual brigade or dual plus on them. I should be able to play a lot of stuff you have as well. So preventing the next, taking the next, restricting good dominance, and having an interrupt take is very good. So assuming I even had to play that, I doubt it. If y'all haven't played this defense before, it's really fun. The other concept that I'm working with is Nazareth and Destructive Sin, but with no Messenger Satan and no Red Dragon, and playing Possessing Spirit and choose the blocker. So it has more of that orange aspect instead of the crimson. It's really easy to swap out. You can still play it at 57. It's very similar to what Jaden had last year in one of his videos with the tokens and the choosing of the tokens and Possessing Spirit. You pretty much take that deck and you can supplement with a GOC offense that chooses the blocker and gets the 4 drachma coin and the speed and interject Nazi into it, and it's pretty crazy. I haven't shown that one. I guess I'm going to ease you all into everything, but that deck is very good. I mean, I'm choosing because this offense I don't think is great. So if I can choose the blocker and I still have Nazi down turn 1 and Destructive Sin, which I need to play. Oh, I just blocked. But if I have Destructive Sin, Possessing Spirit, I mean, all your good cards are negated in your territory. And Nazi's down, Destructive Sin, Possessing Spirit, and then I have tokens. And y'all, 2 Possessed is an amazing card. I mean, people just aren't using it, but 2 Possessed is so good. They pretty much have to bounce their heroes, but people think you have to use it as a territory class. You can play that thing in battle. It's like play that and then play Hate the Light. That gets rid of all heroes, but there's a lot of stuff. Strike the Shepherd's really good. Just so many cards people aren't playing that are really good. So from here, no upkeeps. We'll put down Temple. I can put down Destructive Sin. And that's turn 2, correct? That was my turn 1 attack. That's my turn 1 block. So this is turn 2. And yeah, I guess you could say we got lucky with Destructive Sin. But I mean, we draw enough in here. So we got the lock already. It's really not hard to do. You have enough ways to Nazi. And then you're just kind of looking for a Destructive Sin in a pinch you could play Judas because you have Temple Veil. You could always play Judas as a hero. Not horrible. So from here, as much as we want to toss, I want to draw. All I have is either a Chronicles or a Herod's Temple with nothing to toss. Or I can go into a Lazzy and draw one. And I kind of got lucky there. Now I have a draw 3 to go with my Untouchable. So at least I'm negating evil cards and have the Generous Giving. I need ways to beef back up my hand because you just don't have all the stuff. Like, I don't think people realize how much of their resources are centered around Nazareth. And I would say if you're looking to really be competitive this tournament season, you're really looking to be like, hey, I think I have a shot at top 10 at Nats. I should win my state, or it's a very competitive state, so I should be up there top 3. Same with regionals. If you think you're top 10 at Nats, you need to win your state. It's got to have someone else in there really good to not win, and then you have to pretty much go toe-to-toe with them, and then get them at regionals. Like, you have to have either the state or regionals win over that person. But yeah, if you're looking for a top 10 at Nats, if you're who I'm talking to, look at your deck list and see how many of your cards draw, and of those, how many are good and how many are evil, and how much do you draw that are neutral. So if your neutrals are negated, how much do you lose? How much searching do you lose if your neutrals are negated? How much drawing do you lose if your neutrals are negated? And then look at from a good perspective. How much are you searching on good? How much are you searching on evil? Is your deck reliant on searching? Is it relying on drawing? So really break down your deck into what it's doing. 1 year at Nats, I thought I had the best Type 2 deck. I was like, this thing's amazing. Like, I dominated all the way up to Nats. And go to play, I think that might be the right year, but either way, I go to play Jaden. He opening hand or drew 3 or something. Like, I think I went first, and then he went, and he got Zerubbabel, Akeem, and Golden Calf turn 1. I could not block. My defense was pretty much like a Type 2 version of the Southeast defense, which would equip itself with weapons and play first. I think this was 2019, I think. But I'd equip myself with Raisin and Captain of the Chariots and grab King Raisin would grab Damascus and be able to grab Assyrian and like just get my defense rolling. But he negated neutrals turn 1. My Damascus didn't work, and I didn't even have an answer to that. I was just assuming that my neutrals would work. And it must have been 2019 when LOC was out already, I think. But either way, I was reliant on something to work, and boom, turn 1, this doesn't work. So I said before on this channel, I've done testing as if Moses is in territory. Like, they get to go first and Moses is down. Do the same thing, but Nazi's down. We're not seeing Pact with Death. You know what else we're not seeing is Rain Becomes Dust. And it's the same exact stuff from years prior where people just weren't using certain cards because it affected them as well. And sure enough, John Early comes out and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use Covenant with Death and win Nats. These cards that are impacting both sides of the field, there's a reason. It's because they're just very, very strong. Look at those cards. Look if you could build around them. Like, can you build a deck with Pact with Death and be fine? Can you build with Rain Becomes Dust and be fine? And then can you get that card early on? So I think we do too much of this fantasy land redemption where everything works, all my stuff's good to go. I don't know why I lost at Nats. Just know I played in a lot of nationals. Be prepared for everything. And in order to do that, really look at your deck. What draws, what searches, and then break it down. Neutrals, good, evil, and then go from there. So yeah, draw 3. Don't really have anything else outside the untouchable. If I need to, I'd play Chronicles. I really wouldn't want to. If anything, I probably would rather lose this battle and not play Chronicles because I don't want to lose my Destructive Sin. I am negating evil cards and having untouchable on top of that, so more than likely, I don't know, I'm winning that right after I talk about the fantasy land. I didn't do my Lost Souls because I was talking. I went into my draw 3. That's why I paused and didn't play anything. So I actually will do that because I was talking to y'all. Wait. This is a reveal ability. Nazi doesn't allow that. But I can draw. I can discard a card to draw. That was in my hand. So I could probably discard Joanna here to draw 2. And we could put down Ends of the Earth. And we're good. Once again, kind of do a quick look. How many brigades do we have, right? 2, 3. I'm okay if a Matthew looks at me. I can put down Angel from the Sun if I want to draw 2 or if I want them to get a draw 2 or not, but that's fine. I can't use Angel from the Sun anyway, but I do have Mary Holy Virgin. So, and I say I can't use Angel from the Sun because Nazi's down, but I have Mary Holy Virgin, so I don't need to put him down. They now have to get around, accusers if that affects them, Destructive Sin, Nazi, and just an absolutely massive band. I think from here I go Plunderers to Judas to Messenger. I'll just give myself a draw 1 to... Whoops. I did do that wrong. I wanted to get... I wanted to set that up differently with the Thief. Oh well. And then once again, do I need to draw or do I need to take from their hand? And if their hand was protected, it would have been the Thief first to negate a good card in their territory and then exchange. And then probably Condemned unless I really want to draw. And if so, that's a massive draw, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's humongo. So if I felt like, a draw 6 with the Chronicles is better than bringing in a Condemned, who knows? Oh, and I forgot my tokens even though I said it. I won't forget this one. And once again, if that's my opponent, oh, hey, you forgot your token. It doesn't take long. And it is. Ultimately, we're playing for God's glory. Like, we're actually playing to glorify God. We're not playing. It's a hobby for us. But we do want to make sure, like, the point is about Jesus. And sometimes that gets lost. I get it. So let's see. So I do this big band. And that's the only thing I have is Chronicles. So if they have anything, that's why I like Colosseum, like Highwayman, to just slap down Colosseum. And when I was looking over Joe Mama's deck, that's a Discord name. When I was looking over his deck, I was noticing all his enhancements were CBN, like a heavy majority of them. So an early Highwayman slap down Colosseum. That's pretty brutal. Nothing for upkeep. We can just put Distressed and Golgotha if we want. We can put Temple Veil, Inherits Temple. I don't think we have Peter. or Covenant. So I'd rather have my hand protected than Book of the Covenant. If we need to, we can just play the big 2. I like having Faith of Gideon in this deck, but I don't have it. I like having Faith of Gideon off of Right On. A lot of people play, like you get the 20 shekels or you get the hand look, and then you just go into an AOC. Of course, that's a really good play. Or a Love One Another if you have enough meat characters out. You get around their protection. If you can go into like a side battle and go back into Thieves and take all their stuff, that's really good. Like if I can just go right back to a Condemned Thief, like negate a card, like I can go the Thief, potentially, snipe one of their characters and go to Condemned and take an enhancement from their hand after I just blocked with him and took an enhancement from their hand. That's very, very good. And then I can get all the drawing again if I want to off that band. It's just however you want to play it. But I talked about side battles last time. I do think Faith of Gideon's really good. I would like it in the reserve. Let's be real. You're going to play Simon AOC anyway. Like you're going to play Love One Another. All these cards you're going to be able to play. So unless you know Simon AOC walk-in, it's going to work. Then yeah, do that. But if you can do like Simon AOC, like Simon choose the blocker, play AOC, and then maybe slap down awesome things and do a side battle and further hit their hand. There's just different lines of sight to look at, and getting the most out of your dominance is what wins nationals. So yeah, I'd look at your hand, bounce, Lazzy, and I don't have, actually Lazzy wasn't the right move. I don't really have anything to attack with. I was saying this offense is kind of meh. So I don't have the add to battle here. It's all in my reserve. So I just really get the Lazzy, the draw 1. I could add the ends of the earth, and I get to reveal the top 7. I think it's a reveal all. So whether or not I want Love One Another or AOC, AOC isn't CBN here, so probably take Love One Another. I do have 3 Woes and Angel Lord and Right On, so I have plenty of firepower from my dominance. I just feel like this offense is very dominant, reliant without easy add to battle access because of Nazi. So, like I said, I don't think this is the optimal build, but the actual concept of Nazi Destructive Sin is extremely good. Or use a different defense and Nazi Judas is really good. So either or. But yeah, I don't need to really get too much into anything else. I mean, not that it's a long enough video, but y'all are very familiar with this defense, very familiar with this offense. So you don't need to see any more of it, but the main concept, of course, is that lock. And I just wanted to talk about a couple things with dominance and shaping the meta. I do expect the gray version of this deck, and that's kind of what Joe Mama was doing, because you get Philosophy and Denarius with Nazareth. I do expect that one to be more popular. Just play Judas in that build as good. But look into all sorts of stuff. What else works outside of Nazi? Like Joe Mama's deck didn't have Balaam's Prophecy, and that's a very good one for a Nazi. That anytime you can get out resources for good and evil on a card, and it worked through Nazi is good. So I hope you all enjoyed. It wasn't as high energy, sorry. Like I said, I'm just getting over the flu. Wanted to get a video out there though. But yeah, that's one deck that I'm working with a lot of different variants. And I hope y'all enjoyed. See y'all.